Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Guys, Josh Warrington stops Kiko Martinez. Um, I felt Josh Warrington was going to win this fight. Martinez has seen better days. I know, look, he beat Kid Galahad, but Kid Galahad before he got hurt, in I think it was the fifth round, he was totally dominating Martinez, and I feel like that fight between Kid Galahad and Martinez reminded me a little bit of Povetkin White, where Povetkin was dominate. I mean, White was dominating Povetkin, and Povetkin just landed a huge punch. And I felt the same way. Obviously, there was rumors that Galahad was drained, etc. But Martinez looked pretty terrible. He was taking a beating in against Galahad. And then he just landed a huge punch, and then in the sixth round he finished him off with a right hand, and he just totally flattened him. I don't think Galahad had recovered, but I felt Warrington, being a volume puncher, having a good chin, would be too much for Martinez. The first round, it was evident Warrington was faster, quick, and listen, there was a head clash which didn't help. There was a couple of head clashes, and Warrington seems to have a bit of an issue with these headbutts. He headbutted Lara as well. Now he's headbutted Martinez. So definitely there's some he seems to me sometimes he goes in with a head. That ended the fight with Lara prematurely, and I think that the fight with Martinez, obviously he was affected with blood in his eye and vision, but I thought Warrington was going to win anyway. I just think he was faster, younger, bigger, and he was going to outwork Martinez. Martinez, like I said, I think he was way past his best. I think that win that he had against Galahad flattered him a little bit because of the fact that he just landed a big punch and he hurt him. Otherwise, he was getting battered in that fight. That fight was one-way traffic up until Martinez landed a punch. And the same thing here. Well, I felt like Warrington was I don't think Warrington was as dominant against Martinez as what Galahad was. I think Galahad was actually dominating and battering him, and Warrington was actually getting hit with a lot more shots than what Martinez was hitting Galahad with. But Galahad is that type of slick type of fighter, not easy to hit. But Warrington showed some good skills in there. Warrington was, he was boxing well. I just don't think Martinez has the physical strength or the size or the power to really push and hurt Warrington, whereas someone like Mauricio Lara would. Lara, obviously in the first fight when he fought Warrington was battered him just like from pillar to post. In the second fight as well, I think Lara's just too strong. He's physically very strong. He's also very big at the weight. And I think the problem is the way Josh Warrington fights, he gets caught. Like even today, Josh Warrington was getting caught. It's just that, like I said, Martinez isn't strong enough or hits hard enough to really trouble Warrington. Whereas someone like Lara has the power, the strength, and the physical strength to be able to really push Warrington and hurt him, push him back. And that's why I think Warrington would always lose that fight against Lara. But I think the fight that really makes sense for Warrington now. So let's go back to this fight. Yeah, so Martinez got hurt in the first round. He got dropped in the first round. Then after that, Martinez had success here and there. But, Warrington just looked in control of the fight. It looked like he was going to end it eventually. And that's what he did. In the seventh round, he hurt him and he jumped on him and he knocked him out, stopped him. Like I said, there were a few dirty moments in there in terms of the headbutts and the head clashes. I'm not saying they were intentional, but obviously I think they definitely didn't help Martinez in that fight because he had blurred vision. And I felt like it was a matter of time. I just felt like Warrington, as soon as he gets some sustained shots, I think he was going to stop him, and that's what happened in the seventh. But if we talk about, firstly, Kiko Martinez, one of the greatest Spanish fighters of all time, had a great career. I think he should probably call it a day now. I don't think that he's got much left in the tank. I think he's a warrior, so he'll always fight hard, but I don't think he's got a lot left. I think he's seen better days. Like I said, against Galahad, he was taking a lot of punishment, but he landed a a honey punch which really hurt Galahad, and he managed to get the win. But I'm not so sure that to be honest, I'm not so sure that I'm not so sure that Martinez has any much left. So personally, I think Martinez should probably call it a day. In terms of Josh Warrington and what I think Josh Warrington should do, I would like to see Josh Warrington fight a trilogy with Lara. I think, he owes Lara that, in the sense that Lara battered him the first fight. The second fight, for me, there was a headbutt and a head clash. And I personally think that Lara would have beat him in the second fight as well. I think the fight was heading in the same direction as it was in the first. I think Lara was getting to him. I think Lara would have broke him down and beat him in that fight as well. Because like I said, I don't think Josh Warrington hits hard enough to trouble Lara. And Lara hits very hard, and we know that he can trouble and hurt Josh Warrington. He's proved it now. He's proved it a couple of times. So I feel like that's the fight that I would like to see, just to see if Josh Warrington really is back. Because I expected him to beat Martinez. Martinez is old, he's smaller than Warrington. I always felt Warrington was going to win that fight. But obviously, the fact that Martinez was a world champion, that fight made sense. Because obviously, if Warrington wins, he's back in the mix and he's a world champion again. But I felt like Lara should have got that opportunity, as he was the guy that beat Warrington. But that's a big fight. But, that's not even a fight that they're even talking about at this point. I think Lee Wood is obviously a fight, a domestic fight, a massive fight between two domestic fighters. And I think that'll be a good fight. I think that's a very, very, very good fight. Who would I favor in that fight? Probably Wood. I think Wood's got the momentum right now. I think Wood's probably the better boxer out of the two. I think Wood hits harder. Wood's also a big featherweight. So I think the fight would probably favor Wood at this point. And I think Wood hits hard enough to really keep Warrington off. I personally would favor Wood massively in that fight. I just think he's the better boxer out of the two. Like, if you look at Wood last week, Wood, for me, was outboxed at times against Conlan. But Conlan's a pure boxer. He's a very good boxer. But the way Wood used his physicality, broke Conlan down and stopped him late, showed me that this guy's got a good boxing IQ as well. So Wood, for me, has very good boxing IQ. And I think he beats Josh Warrington in all departments. I think he's got a very good chin. He showed that against Conlan. He wears down. He's very tough. He can come back from adversity. He punches harder than Warrington. For me, he's the better boxer out of him and Warrington. So I really favor Wood quite massively in that fight, if I'm honest with you. And I personally, I don't know whether Josh Warrington might not be so interested. I think he might go down the route of going to fighting in America with like a Leo Santa Cruz or a Navarrete or someone like that. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to go for one of those fights, because I think Wood would beat him. And I don't know whether Josh Warrington might look at Wood, although Wood is got a belt. I know he's got a regular belt, but I don't think Wood he has a regular belt, which probably should be upgraded to the full version. But Josh Warrington look at Wood as a step down, and would he rather go and fight one of those big American names, where if he was to lose, at least he can tick the box that he boxed in America and he fought one of the best in the division. Whereas Lee Wood, although it'd be a big fight here and it'd sell out as the City Ground or whatever, Warrington probably feels that Lee Wood's not as accomplished as him, and he may feel that he's got a bigger name, and he may want to go to America and tick that box. Because if he fights Lee Wood, that's it. His career, and loses, his career might be done. If he goes to America, fights a Navarrete, loses to that fight, or loses to Navarrete, or who's the other one that I mentioned earlier? Who was the other one I just mentioned? Navarrete, and there's Magsayo, there's Gary Russell, there's Lara. I don't think he's going to go anywhere near Lara, but there was another one that I mentioned. It's not coming to my head now anyway. But yeah, do you see what I mean? Like, there's a Leo Santa Cruz, sorry. That's another one, Leo Santa Cruz. So these are the fights that I think that Warrington might want, just because I think he probably feels that a win over those guys gets him more credibility than a win over Wood. And just the fights are more higher profile on a world stage. Obviously, the fight here, if he was to fight Wood, the fight here would be a massive fight against Wood. But Warrington might be looking for something more high profile in world boxing with Navarrete, Leo Santa Cruz, and those type of names, Maxayo, those type of names who are more accomplished and have a bigger name than Lee Wood. Yeah, Lee Wood has a big following in Nottingham, but he's still not well known amongst, like he's not well known globally in America and stuff. Whereas if Warrington was to go and do a job on a Navarrete or go and be a Leo Santa Cruz, that would be huge for him, for his legacy and all. So personally, I think Warrington might even go down the route of going to America personally, just because I think he may know that a loss against Lee Wood may be the end of his career, whereas a loss against Navarrete, he can come back and fight Lee Wood anyway. So because that fight will always be there. And Lee Wood will probably always be interested in it as well, because it'd be a big payday, So yeah, I personally think that the fights are still there's a lot of options out there for Warrington. Personally, I would like to see him fight Lara. I would like to see if he can avenge that loss that he had with Lara. Because to me, Lara should be the one that getting the shot for this world title, because he beat Warrington. But that's just the way boxing works, unfortunately. Boxing is like that. Whereas, the guy that's the more politically connected fighter, the guy that's got more commercial, he's basically the bigger name. Financially, there's more mileage behind him than someone like Lara, who hasn't got a huge fan base, who hasn't got a fan base like Josh Warrington has in Leeds. He's not as politically connected as what Josh Warrington is. So, these things happen in boxing. Boxing politics will always be there. But if Josh Warrington wants to, be remembered as a great British fighter, I feel like he has to avenge that loss, or at least try to avenge that loss. But personally, I can't see him going down that route, just because of how dangerous Lara is, and the fact that what Lara did to him the first fight and the way the second fight was shaping up. I'm not sure. I hope he does. But time will tell. Let's see what happens. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.